Next up, we have FingerMotion. FingerMotion trades on the OTCQX under the symbol FNGR, very clever, and is a technology company with a core competency in mobile payment and recharge platform solutions. It is one of the few companies in China with access to wholesale rechargeable minutes from China's largest mobile phone providers that can be resold to customers. Martin Shen, FingerMotion CEO, is with us today. Martin, welcome.
Hi, Anna. Thanks so much for having us.
Thank you. Take it over. All yours, Martin.
Sure. All right. Well, first, I want to thank everyone for joining us here today. And I do want to make a quick shout out to the group organizing this Emerging Growth Conference for inviting us. As Anna mentioned, my name is Martin Shen, and I am the CEO of FingerMotion. Next slide, please. I thought it would be best to start this presentation with our vision as a company and to provide the big picture of what we're trying to accomplish. First, you should know we are a technology company and we develop innovative products, but they aren't the typical type that you can touch and feel with your hands. Our focus is more on the back end, making the mobile experience easier and more beneficial by analyzing the data and applying behavioral analytics. You'll hear that term a lot. Now imagine a situation where you're frustrated by all the charging cables you need for all your devices and wish you could just have one solution for everything. Wouldn't it be great if, with just the press of a button, a system could immediately know all the devices you have, check the compatibility of all of them, and acquire the best option for you available in the market? That system would not only help you, the consumer, but also help the stores to know what product you need and what to stock. This system is similar to the abilities of our company, to understand what a mobile phone user is doing, and to use this information to predict what else a user might need or what is coming next. We are potentially the engine behind everything you do on a mobile phone, to collect the data and find the applications that will help the user in real life. This is what we're all about. Next slide, please. Now that you get a little idea of what our vision is, let's go over one of our biggest announcements of late. Here's a snippet from our latest press release. In January, we made one of the most significant announcements as a company. We are very proud to announce our partnership with Pacific Life Reinsurance, in essence becoming their data provider. For those of you who might not be familiar with Pac Life, they are a top 5 insurance underwriter with $170 billion in assets. We're very excited about this deal because it not only validated the work which we had in our R&D phase for about 2 years, but also put us on track to monetize our big data asset. Currently, our initial rollout will be focused on insurance and finance-related products in what represents the biggest e-commerce market in the world, China. Now, we'll go into more detail of the partnership in a bit, but it's clearly more than just providing data. We will be providing behavioral analytics, information that provides brief insights into human nature itself that will add value to the reinsurance business. Next. So now let me explain our fundamentals, our strategic relationships, and how we got to where we are today. We began by forging relationships with the 3 largest telecoms in China, China Telecom, China Mobile, and China Unicom. By building up our relationships and providing consistent and dependable service, they have in turn given us unprecedented access to their respective user bases. This allows us to target telecom users with innovative products in an unobtrusive manner, which is what the telecoms desire. They trust us with their most precious commodity, their users. We reimagined our company in 2018 with the establishment of our subsidiary in China, Zhuge Information Technology, to focus on and offer telecommunication services to mass subscribers. Next slide, please. Now, this slide gives us a brief timeline on how we forged these relationships and how we got to where we are today. Really a big data insights company with access to over 1 billion users. It began in June 2018 when we signed an agreement with China Unicom, which allowed us to beta test and perfect our mobile recharge and payment platform. This developed quickly when we were anointed as China Unicom's big data analysis partner. Although we knew it was a big deal at the time, we didn't exactly know how it was going to play out. But we stayed the course by proving our mobile recharge and payment platform worked until we got the attention of another major e-commerce player, Pinduoduo. And by February 2019, we were able to offer PDD's users our service. In April, we added both China Mobile and China Unicom into the mix, effectively giving us complete coverage of the telecom market. At the same time, we saw an opportunity in the SMS business and launched it with a backlog of customers. Our platform performance didn't go unnoticed, and China Mobile made us their big data partner in June 2019. In August, we took over a key portal for China Unicom, which eventually led to more regional coverage over time, and that continues to grow. And in October 2019, we saw one of the largest e-commerce companies enlist our payment platform when Tmall signed on, which some of you know as a subsidiary of Alibaba. You can see over time how our stature as a company grew. Our last major milestone provided us the resources we needed to be competitive in the big data space. This ultimately led to the inking of our deal with Pacific Life Re. Next slide, please. Now, we talked about Pacific Life and our big three China telecom companies, so let me clarify what we do as a company. We currently have 4 main business units: telecommunications products and services. This was our initial business, where we make a commission off of top-up transactions and e-commerce transactions for the respective telecoms. This was our foundational business, and as mentioned, we had perfected the business to provide a seamless consumer experience. Next, we have SMS and MMS. And unlike the US and Canada, SMS is not free, as businesses have to pay to send SMS. And the SMS industry is heavily regulated in China. There are strict rules regarding spam and propaganda against the government, of course. So our platform not only provides attractive discounted access to SMS bundles, but also ensures governmental compliance while executing their targeted marketing plan. Next, we have Rich Communication Services, or RCS. And this division is still in its infancy. Here, our program will target 5G users, and in essence is a messaging platform that takes advantage of the increased bandwidth with functionality like click and mobile pay options. This is very enviable for our telecom partners, as it keeps the users on their system and not switching off to the internet or third-party apps. As this product comes out of testing, we will share more information about this groundbreaking technology. And finally, Big Data Insights and our Sapientus division. As mentioned, our team of data scientists and actuaries have developed proprietary algorithms that can predict consumer behavior. And with our relationship with the telecoms, we're able to run our algorithms in real time and off the secure database. We hope you can see that even though we have 4 distinct business units, they're tied together by a common thread: the telecom user. We have access to over 1 billion users, combining the base of the 3 telecoms. Next slide, please. Now, with these divisions, we can provide a short summary on how we're currently generating revenue. Currently, our telecom products and services and our SMS and MMS services are generating revenue. The products and services arm actually generate a tremendous amount of gross transactional value, as we yield basis points on each and every transaction, but the margins are small. And of course, only the commissions on the transactions are recorded as revenue. In comparison, the SMS business generates much higher margins and thus currently represents a majority of our revenues. As you will learn later on, however, these low margin services provide an integral part of our overall business plan and sets the foundation for our access to telecoms and the users. This year, we also expect our RCS services and our Big Data Insights division to kick in. And these margins in these divisions are expected to eclipse all the other divisions and will likely represent a significant segment of our future. Next slide, please. Now, some people may wonder how we managed to get lucky, that we were able to outmaneuver some of the biggest e-commerce giants in forging these relationships with the top telecoms in China. I assure you, this was not luck. It all starts with the people in our organization. We have people in our company with over 18 years of industry experience in data analysis, telecom experience, actuarial expertise, and knowledge of key markets. These long-standing relationships may have gotten us the initial meetings with telcos, but it's our team of actuaries and marketers that were able to solidify that relationship by demonstrating our system's reliability and our platform's robust performance. And it was through these consistent performance metrics that we were able to win the tenders. I would argue that most e-commerce companies know how to process data, but they may not know how to transform it. At FingerMotion, this is our edge. We're able to transform the data by overlaying the information with our behavioral algorithms and apply to specific industry applications, providing unique results that no other company has provided before. We know that there are a lot of companies out there that process big data. Snowflake, one of the biggest IPOs last year, processes data. MongoDB and Splunk are also large players that are relatively new into the data space. But our differentiation is that we work with the data, not guesses of the data. We work with the actual data itself. We think this edge is what helped us land our top reinsurance partner, with a pipeline of other reinsurers to come. As a reinsurer who lives and dies by the accuracy of their risk assessments, do you think that they want a best guess of the information or the actual behavioral insights behind the data? We think we're the only company to have the ability to ask and answer those questions if they want. That is our edge. Next slide, please. Now let's provide a bit more insight into our core businesses. Next slide. First up is our telecommunication products and services, which in essence is our top-up business. And this is where really we all started. Next slide. First, let me break down how big this market is. As you can see by the stats here, China is the single largest smartphone market in the world. The reason we show you the number of smartphones, the number of subscriptions, and the average time spent on the phone is because we get a little sliver of each of those transactions from each of the 3 telecom providers. Next slide. Our position is basically to operate as the intermediary between the consumer and the telecoms. Now, most consumers simply visit their preferred e-commerce or social media platforms to pay or top up their phone bills. Our platform, called the PIS system, simply connects the e-commerce site to the telecommunications companies, ensuring that the consumer's accounts are accurately updated with their correct balances and that the telcos receive their payments. One of the challenges we solved with our PIS platform was integration. Each of the telecoms had their own interface, which was proprietary to them, so that there wasn't a single platform where you could get connected into the respective telecom ecosystem. We solved that and even made it easier for the major e-commerce platforms to access the telecoms. We essentially are the gateway between the e-commerce giants and the Chinese telcos. And for every access, we get a small point of commission on a lot of transactions. Next slide, please. This slide provides a little more insight to our reach and gives you a better idea of the names behind our partnerships. We already mentioned the top 3 telcos, China Mobile, China Unicom, and China Telecom. Add to that list some mobile phone distributors like vSense. And the names of our downstream partners are the e-commerce companies you've likely heard of. Tmall, the subsidiary of Alibaba, JD.com, and Pinduoduo. Our PIS platform bridges these 2 worlds. Next slide, please. So other than top-up, our other major products are providing data plans, enabling mobile phone purchases, the setup and redemption of loyalty points programs, and fulfillment of subscription plans. Now, we typically highlight the top-up and recharge process because the other products are relatively self-explanatory and translate well into the US market. For example, in the US market, we typically pay for plans in advance on a monthly basis. The Chinese market is slightly different and is primarily equivalent to the prepaid mobile phone in the US, where you pay for what you use. If the consumer has a lot of usage, they would have to top up frequently, and this means visiting the portal and buying minutes. While they are on the portal, they're often subject to advertising for goods and services they may want or need. In this situation, we would not only track their recharge transaction, but we would also know if they took advantage of any auxiliary marketing. This is an example of not only having the data, but understanding how valuable that is within a particular ecosystem. Next slide. So now that we have all our major telcos on board, you may wonder how we did it. Well, we worked closely with them at the provincial level and found out what they needed. By providing a reliable platform, we were able to integrate with the top e-commerce companies. Then we provided additional innovative products and offered top-notch customer service, which is something that's never been done before in the marketplace. Finally, we continue to innovate and provide the telecoms with concepts they may not have even considered. Through all of this, we also measure our own success and failures. For example, we started looking at the average revenue per user and started new campaigns to demonstrate how we could increase it. We did this by increasing the number of visits and generating more traffic. Simply put, we developed metrics by which we could measure our own success. Next slide, please. And here's a list of some of our accomplishments. We were able to reach 250 million in gross transactional value during a 6-month period. We have over 5 million in recurring monthly repeat business. Our system can handle over 5,000 transactions per minute, and we continue to try to improve that figure. And most importantly, we have 99.7% success rate in transaction completion. This is important because in China, for example, when payday hits, there is a glut of requests that result in a delay in the top-up. So platforms that can boast a better transaction completion rate are more likely to be used over and over again. Finally, we have over 9 online stores and 20 business partners. We believe we have the best and only platform that integrates the top e-commerce giants with the top telcos. Next slide. So now we can move into our second business, which is the SMS and MMS business, the short message service and the multimedia messaging service. Next slide. As we mentioned at the top, the SMS business in China is heavily policed. Not only is the recipient list regulated, there cannot be any spam messages or any propaganda or derogatory statements against the government. One of our advantages is the ability to provide the governmental review quickly, and thus, through our platform, we have been able to quickly and efficiently market our customers' messages to their potential consumers. Also, with our relationships with the telcos, we have access to discounted SMS bundles, and we pass on those discounts to our customers, making us even more attractive to our business partners. And look at what we've been able to accomplish over the last year. Even though the cost of the bundle will vary on the telco's availability, the size of the bundle, and the overall general demand, we're still able to process approximately 2 billion transactions with an average gross margin of 13%. We're quickly taking market share as our customers realize our value proposition. Targeted delivery with results in better conversion and quick, consistent approvals, making the process hassle-free. Next slide. Next, we have RCS, or Rich Communication Services. Now, this is our latest development on our platform, and it's still in its infancy, taking advantage of the burgeoning 5G infrastructure that we all know is rapidly being built in China. Next slide. Now, our foray into the 5G ecosphere is a big step for us, as we predict the rollout of our new RCS division will represent a substantial new revenue stream. For scale, look at how big the market is. 473 million users and growing. They're estimating somewhere in the neighborhood of $74 billion market by year end. The 5G conceptual is a brand new messaging platform, and we get to sell it direct to the consumer. Next slide. So with the advent of 5G, the telecoms look to take advantage of the increased bandwidth and the ability to conduct transactions while remaining on the telecommunications system. It is much better than having consumers switch off of the telecom system and start using third-party apps or the internet. Clearly, it is in the telco's best interest to keep the users on their system. Our RCS platform offers the telcos the ability to create interactive and responsive messages, which would include voice, picture, and videos that can be used to market their business partners' wares. Now here are some screenshots, and you can see it's not just normal text. It is interactive with all the bells and whistles. Our new system is coming out of beta testing now, and we're excited about what we think it can do. Next slide. We will be launching our own brand to compete against the other systems out there, But unlike the competitors, we will be providing direct contact to this high quality user and can still provide uninterrupted access to the portals of our choosing. By understanding consumers' base tendencies, we are providing significant value to our corporate partners by aligning the right customers with the right business. We think we have a big competitive advantage here. Next slide. And all that understanding leads us to, as we alluded to in the beginning, our most exciting business division, our big data insights, which we have named Sapientus. Next slide. This graphic shows our evolution. We had a humble beginning and worked as a big data analysis partner for China Unicom and China Mobile. As we accumulated more and more data points, we built a strong data team, eventually forming Sapientus, which was a springboard for refining our modeling and predictive algorithms. Now we have a team of scientists and actuaries looking for ways to commercialize right now the insurtech business. Next slide. Now, as we mentioned, the 5G is going to reshape a lot of industries. Applications that are in the past that chewed up a lot of bandwidth just weren't feasible, but they are now. One of our target markets right now is the online insurance market, and we'll delve into that in a couple slides. Another burgeoning trend is the rise of digital payments over cash. Think about how the digital footprint of our users are growing, leaving a trail of what they purchased and where they purchased, and ultimately what marketing ads resonated with them. Sapientus, with its predictive algorithms, is constantly learning and refining how to parse that data. This is why the leading insurance players have been looking to partner up. Insurance is very profitable, predictable, and a steady long-term business with high profit margins. With our big data unit, we really have a chance to truly revolutionize the insurtech business. Next slide, please. As you can see, our divisions all work together, and our company's existing businesses all break down and feed into big data. We have evolved into a technology and data specialist company and built well-established mobile phone business platforms in China, providing data, payment, and recharge services to our partners. Our robust and scalable platforms enable seamless real-time integrations between telecommunications operators and e-commerce platforms and businesses. Next slide. And again, if we take a step back and look at the market we're dealing with, in China, smartphone usage ranks first globally, and our business thrives on usage. So we are in the biggest market with the biggest users. Our online insurance sales are growing 40% year over year, and we're soon to be part of that marketplace through our existing and future partnerships. Online health insurance is also growing rapidly and is virtually an untapped market. And in the macro view of China itself, they are anticipated to have the largest insurance market by the mid-2030s, and we could be part of it. Short-term health insurance is growing very fast and experiencing amazing year-over-year growth, and there's no reason why we couldn't participate in that market as well. Next slide, please. We have pulled input from our data scientists, actuaries, IT guys, and insurance professionals as to what data is important and what data packets to build. Then we test the data in our analytics hub to ensure its predictive value. Once the algorithms have been validated, we can monetize them in our insurance platform or through other data partnerships. Next slide, please. So let's take a second to understand how data collection works. Here's a quick overview. This graphic represents all the major inputs that go into defining an algorithm. As you can see by the different color codes, we have a telco input, an auxiliary component, and then the long-standing research component. These all predict behavior on their own, but when combined, they create a multi-dimensional cross-check to validate the data itself. At the center of it all is the predictive behavior that we are modeling. Next slide, please. As we mentioned, we take advantage of China's nationwide 5G deployment, and we capitalize on the continually growing power of mobile data, transforming telecommunication signals into data blocks and integrating with a host of external data and auxiliary information to analyze and form consumer behavioral insights. We set out to create an integrated data ecosystem through technology and innovation, starting with an enhanced user experience at the mobile communication level and extending into deeper consumer analytics built upon a comprehensive set of high-quality mobile user data. This will enable us to better cater to our customers' needs via a spectrum of products and partnerships in insurance, in healthcare, in finance, but for now, in InsurTech. Our seasoned actuaries and data scientists will lead the way in expanding our data analytics and enabling innovative insurance business applications. Next slide. So let's dig into those building blocks really quickly. With this picture, we're trying to give the viewer a better understanding of all the behavioral variables that we track and quantify just from the mobile phone. At the highest level, we start with your demographics like age, how you identify, neighborhood, house. Then we overlay that with your geospatial imprint. Since people carry a phone wherever they go, we can learn a lot about that person and what they do during the day. We also cross-reference these things with the user's internet usage to help further refine the profile. Now, if you take any particular block, maybe at the internet usage level, the distractions while driving, see how that factor is determined by travel time and travel duration, which is a geospatial imprint, cross-referenced by how much internet they may be using while they are driving. Now, this is just a small example of how we develop behavioral insights from raw data and why, for example, an insurance company would be very interested in our work. Next slide, please. Now, this one gives you the overall thought algorithm that builds the behavioral profile of an individual. And the fitness enthusiast is a good one. If you visit the gym a lot, it's a telltale sign you're into fitness. And if you're a user of a fitness app, that is another clue. With geospatial data, we can tell if you walk or bike to work, and we even know your proximity to your office. Now, what if that fitness enthusiast wants to sign up for insurance? It's very likely the insurance company will want a low-risk person to sign up with them, so they may offer them a better rate. It improves the company's portfolio, and that individual isn't lost to the competition. This personification data is the proprietary skill set we developed at Sapientus. Next slide, please. So how does that all intertwine with our collaboration with Pacific Life Re? Well, this picture shows the relationship between the two companies. On the left, we have Pac Life, who are looking for refined perspectives, which in the insurance business means better ways to define risk. Product innovation, another way of saying personalized insurance, which every insurance company aspires to having. And of course, they want channel expansion, which means making their insurance products available in different markets, in different industries, and to more people. And on the other side, we have FingerMotion and our wholly owned sub, Sapientus. Our team takes the data and performs analytics on it so they can determine certain behavioral tendencies, which will ultimately be monetized in the business application. And the interlocking puzzle pieces represent the very tight connection between the two companies, as the synergies reflect how our partners can grow their business with us and how we can monetize our data asset with a product to sell. Next slide, please. We hope you can see our vision of big data enabled solutions like our InsurTech products represent better value for the insurer and the consumer. It's a win-win scenario. The customer gets better rates and the insurance company gets a more accurate risk profile to assess, which will lead to a stronger, lower risk portfolio. And we think we're just scratching the surface of what is possible with respect to applications. But what we ultimately end up creating is not only something that will strengthen the company, but also enhance shareholder value. Next slide, please. So now you know what we're capable of. What is our plan going forward? Our fundamental divisions, Top Up and SMS, will continue to operate and create growth with capital injections. And then we obviously will be rolling out our RCS division as the beta phases have been completed. As for our big data, there are 3 stages, and we're in essence through this first stage already, which is building the algorithms and testing them. The second stage is winning the key partnership like Pacific Life Re and going through the process of refining and integrating the model so that it can provide the strongest returns. The third and final stage represents our long-term future, taking what we learned in insurance and applying that to other business models outside insurance. Next slide, please. Big data is really our future. And we think that we could quickly scale from not just automotive insurance, but into health and life insurance, and then to healthcare in general. Beyond that, our big data engine can be applied to the financial services industry, and our data could fully augment any credit rating report, which is just an assessment of financial risk. And with that, our platform has been designed to be replicated and migrated to other markets and other jurisdictions. The size of China's market provides a robust arena for us to solidify our processes. However, it's very easy to see the value of Sapientus and our predictive platform would have in other industries and markets around the world. Next slide. As we mentioned, we are a technology company based in the US with operations in China. We started in 2016 with a focus on gaming, but we knew we needed to scale up our user base. And then we expanded our user base when the opportunity knocked by the Chinese government coming and asking us to decentralize the top-up business. This led to the creation of this open platform and the open architecture, and our ability to gather metadata from the users, and what we think may ultimately enable us to change an entire industry's methodology. We believe we have the experience, we believe we have the process in building the best partnerships, and we think we have the full package with our interconnections with respect to users, data acquisition, and big data insights. And I think that this will take our company to some amazing heights over the next few years. Thank you so much for your time. Let me know if you have any questions.
Thank you, Martin. Fantastic presentation. Yes, there are quite a few questions from our attendees, but we're going to send them directly to you so you can answer them. Our time is up for today, but that's a good thing. You had a lot of information to share, and all the questions will be sent directly to you so you can address them.
Well, thanks again. Thanks, Anna. Thanks to the entire group for having us.
Yeah, thank you so much. Appreciate you.